We live our lives surrounded by people we love, but we rarely ever truly see them. We look at them, we register their presence, we hear the words they say, we build a life alongside them, sharing space and time. But to see someone, to see them down to the foundation, to understand the quiet machinery behind their eyes, that is a different act entirely. And in the space between a man and a woman, this gap, the gap between looking and seeing, is where the most important stories are written. It's where connections are either forged in steel or where they silently rust away. A man watches the woman he loves. He observes. He sees her in a moment of stillness, a quiet that settles over her. Or perhaps it's a fleeting gesture, a touch on the arm that lasts just a second too long, or a sudden, unexplained sigh. And in his mind, he translates it. He translates her silence as anger. He translates her stillness as a problem to be solved. He translates her sigh as disappointment in him. He sees a void, a storm, an empty room. And here's the problem. The problem is not her action. The problem is his translation. He is not just misunderstanding the signal, he is translating it in the complete opposite direction of its truth. There is one fundamental language that men, for their entire lives, have been conditioned to misunderstand. An emotional signal so profound that when they get it wrong, it doesn't just cause an argument. It slowly, methodically, and silently dismantles the very attraction she feels for him. We are not here today to fix that signal. We are here to fix the translation. Let us begin with the most common and the most profoundly misunderstood signal of all, her silence. When a woman goes quiet, what is the first thing a man's mind does? It races. It fills the new, sudden space with his own insecurities. She's mad at me. What did I do? She's testing me. This is a game. She's withdrawing. She's pulling away. This is the end. He perceives her silence as a void, an absence of communication, an aggressive act of withdrawal, a vacuum that he must, at all costs, fill. And so he prods, "What's wrong? Are you okay? Just tell me what's bothering you." And when she says, "I'm fine," his internal alarm bells scream, because his translation guide tells him "I'm fine" is a declaration of war. He sees her silence as a weapon pointed at him. But for her silence is not a void. It is full. Her silence is not an empty room. It is a room so full of emotion, so crowded with unprocessed thoughts, data points, and feelings that she cannot physically speak. Her silence is not an act of aggression against him. It is an act of preservation for herself. She is not shutting him out. She is desperately trying to hold herself together. She is standing in the middle of an emotional storm, and her quietness is the only anchor she has. She is trying to find the words, but the words are buried under the feeling. And this is the first great test that 99% of men fail. They see the symptom, the silence, and they try to fix it. They attack the silence. They demand entry. They try to solve the problem. But she doesn't need you to solve her problem. Not yet. She needs you to validate her feeling. She is not looking for a fixer. She is looking for an anchor. Someone who can sit in the chaos of that full, crowded, noisy silence with her and not be afraid. Someone who will not demand that she stop feeling, but who will simply create a space where it is safe for her to feel. When she is silent, she is often conducting a deep, subconscious check. It is not a test. It is a search. She is scanning your face, your body language, your energy, for one thing and one thing only: emotional safety. Is this a man who will get angry if I show him my true, messy emotions? Is this a man who will dismiss my feelings because they don't seem logical to him? Is this a man who will try to fix my A, B, and C, when all I need is for him to see the invisible weight I am carrying? When you prod, when you push, when you get frustrated and say, fine, don't tell me then. You have just given her the answer. You have failed the scan. You have communicated in the loudest possible terms. Your inner world is not safe with me. Your feelings are an inconvenience to me. And the tragedy is, you didn't mean to. You thought you were helping. You thought you were communicating. But you were speaking English while she was speaking in the deep, ancient, non-verbal language of emotional energy. You were trying to win the argument. She was just trying to be heard. And look, if this is resonating with you, if you are starting to see the relationships in your own life in a new light, and you want to go deeper, do yourself a favor and click that subscribe button. We are building a community here dedicated to this kind of deep work, to understanding ourselves and each other. Don't miss what's coming next. Now, this misunderstanding of silence is the centerpiece, but it's part of a much larger hidden language, a system of subconscious signals that men overlook every single day. Let's talk about the microaffection. This is the small, seemingly insignificant bid for connection. It's the hand that rests on your shoulder for 3 seconds as she walks by. It's the brief, sustained eye contact she holds from across the room. It's the way she'll send you a text, not about logistics, but about a silly memory. Men, conditioned to look for the grand gesture, often miss these. They're waiting for the fireworks, the passionate declaration, the obvious invitation. They see these microaffections as just her being nice. They are polite, but they don't reciprocate the energy. But for her, that small touch is not nothing. It is everything. It is a bid. It's the emotional equivalent of her reaching across a void and saying, are you there? Do you see me? Are we still connected? When you see that hand on your shoulder and you simply pat it, or worse, ignore it and continue watching TV, you have just let that bid fall to the floor. You haven't just missed a touch, you have missed the question she was asking with it. She asked, are we okay? And your non-response said, we are not important enough for me to notice. She may not even register this consciously, but her nervous system does. Her subconscious does. And a tiny, imperceptible crack forms. Do that 500 times, and you have a canyon between you. And you, the man, will be the one standing at the edge, wondering how you got there. You got there by ignoring the nothing, because to her, that nothing was the entire conversation. Then there is the vulnerability test. This is one of the most subtle and high-stakes signals she will ever send. It will not sound like a test. It will sound like a complaint. It will sound illogical. It will sound small. This is one of the most subtle and high-stakes signals she will ever send. It will not sound like a test. It will sound like a complaint. It will sound illogical. It will sound small. Solution mode engaged. Now, this misunderstanding of silence is the centerpiece, but it's part of a much larger hidden language, a system of subconscious signals that men overlook every single day. You have just taken her offering of vulnerability, a raw, delicate piece of her inner world, and you have crushed it with logic. She asked, are we okay? And your non-response said, we are not important enough for me to notice. The vulnerability test is not about the content. It is about the connection When she shares that illogical worry, she is not asking for a solution. She is asking for validation. She is asking, am I crazy for feeling this? She is subconsciously testing to see if you will honor her feeling, even if the facts don't line up. The correct answer, the answer that builds a bond so strong it is unbreakable, is not a solution. It is a validation. It sounds like this. That sounds stressful. I'm sorry he looked at you that way. Tell me more about what happened after that. I hear you. It's a painful feeling when you think someone is pulling away. I know how much you love your sister. You have a feeling. Okay. You're usually right about these things. Let's just sit with that. You don't have to figure it out right now. I'm right here. In that moment, you have not solved her problem. You have done something far more important. You have become her partner. You have become the one person on earth who doesn't tell her she's too sensitive or too emotional. You have become her safe harbor. And this safety, this is the hidden, burning core of female attraction. This brings us to the core of attraction. Men are taught that attraction is simple. It's physical. It's visual. It's immediate. It's something that is won, like a trophy. At the beginning of a relationship, this is perhaps the single greatest lie. For a woman, attraction is not static. It is not a trophy you win and then put on a shelf. It is a direct result of her feeling emotionally seen. Attraction is not a state. It is a process. It is a living, breathing thing that must be fed and watered every single day. And its food, its water, is emotional safety. Every time you fail the vulnerability test, every time you let a micro-affection bid fall to the floor, every time you react to her silence with frustration instead of presence, that sounds stressful. I'm sorry he looked at you that way. Tell me more about what happened after that. I hear you. It's a painful feeling when you think someone is pulling away. I know how much you love your sister. You have a feeling. Okay. You're usually right about these things. Let's just sit with that. You don't have to figure it out right now. I'm right here. You are starving her attraction for you. You are communicating on a deep, primal level. Your inner world is not safe with me. Your essence is a burden. You are too much, and a woman cannot be physically intimate with a man who has made her feel emotionally unsafe. When she shares that illogical worry, she is not asking for a solution. She is asking for validation. She is asking, am I crazy for feeling this? She may go through the motions, but her soul is not there. Her true, raw, passionate self has retreated because you have proven that you are not a safe guardian for it. This is the man she complains about. The man who is a great guy, a good father. He's reliable, and there's always a but I just don't feel it anymore. But I feel like I'm alone, but he just doesn't get me. That but is the sound of an attraction that has died of starvation. She may not even register this consciously, but her nervous system does. Her subconscious does. And a tiny, imperceptible crack forms. Do that 500 times. And you have a canyon between you, and you, the man, will be the one standing at the edge, wondering how you got there. But he never fixed the one thing that mattered. And the man, he is baffled. He's still fixing things. He's fixing the gutters. He's fixing the finances. He's fixing the kids' schedules. He is the most competent fixer in the world. But he never fixed the one thing that mattered. This brings us to the last, most confusing signal, the unexpected act, the sudden irritability, the argument about nothing, and the man, logically, says, this is insane. This is an inappropriate reaction to a cup. This is illogical, and he is right. It is an illogical reaction to a cup, because the argument is never, ever, ever about the cup. The cup is not the disease. The cup is the symptom. The cup is the one tiny final straw that broke the camel's back. The camel's back that was already loaded with the 10 microaffections she sent that were ignored. The 3 vulnerability tests she offered that were dismissed with logic. The 1 silence she had last night, where she was met with your frustration instead of your presence. The cup is the only logical, tangible thing she can point to, because the real disease is invisible. The real disease is a feeling of being unseen, a feeling of being unappreciated, a feeling of being alone in the relationship. And when you, the man, defend yourself by arguing about the cup, I was going to get it. Why is this such a big deal? You're crazy for being this upset over a cup. You have just confirmed her deepest fear, that you are still looking at the cup. You are still missing the point. You still do not see her, the man who gets it, the man who is a true partner. He hears her snap about the cup and he feels the sting, but he takes a breath, sound a slow breath, and he pauses and he looks past the cup and he looks past the anger and he looks at her and he says, "You're right. I'm sorry, but this isn't about the cup." Is it, or even better, he says nothing. He simply walks over, puts his arms around her, and holds her. He doesn't say a word. He just holds her. He is not fixing. He is anchoring. He is communicating, I see you. I see your pain. I see that you are overwhelmed. The cup doesn't matter. You matter. I am here. I am not leaving. This is the man she will follow anywhere. This is the man she will give her entire self to. This is the man she will remain wildly, deeply attracted to long after looks and money and youth have faded, because he has given her the one thing she craves more than anything else in the world, a safe place to be, her full, authentic, illogical, emotional self. So we return to the beginning, to the gap. What is the single act that men so profoundly misunderstand? It is not one act. It is the language. It is the fundamental act of her being in her emotional truth. The act is her silence. The act is her micro touch. The act is her illogical worry. We are not here to learn tricks. We are not here to find lines that will get you a woman. That is the language of fixing. That is the language of conquest. This is the language of witnessing. The greatest shift a man can ever make is the shift from fixing to seeing, to stop trying to solve her emotions and simply learn to be a guardian of them, to stop trying to win the argument and simply try to understand the feeling, to stop being a fixer and to start being a harbor. This is the secret. This is the work. This is not just how you get the relationship. This is how you keep it. Don't just listen to her words. Listen to the music behind them. That is how you change everything. And now, I want to hear from you. This is not just a lecture. This is the start of a conversation. What part of this talk resonated with you the most? Was it the silence, the vulnerability test, the cup on the counter? Go to the comments section right now and share your story. Let me know what you recognized, either in yourself or in your partner. I read them, and your story matters. Let's continue this journey together.